set. Now rolling downhill.
Perfect.
How you people doing? It's been a long time. Well, not too terribly long, but about 2 months, over 2 months. It's been some time. I've been away working on stuff, working through stuff, I would say, more importantly. And I hope it's been the same for you guys. It's been a lot of life to live recently. A lot of time has been passing through us. A lot of time has been passing us by. A lot of strange experiences have been passing us by, that's for sure. I hope you guys are keeping a good grip on yourselves. I hope you guys are working towards something. I hope you guys are proud of yourselves. I hope you have the same peace of mind that we're always striving for, you know, whether consciously or subconsciously. We're all looking for some type of stillness, which, yeah, maybe you feel the same, but that's been pretty hard to find as of late, or at least the illusion that it's hard to find. It seems like the entire world wants you to panic and slip into insanity. When the world gets crazy, they want the people to go crazy. When the news gets crazy, they want the people to go crazy. Everything, we live in a world where attention is really currency. We are all I would say, unaffiliated, right? We're all the gray space, and all of these world powers, all of these spiritual powers, it's always been about who can captivate and lead people in what direction. You know, we're all at the mercy of our chosen affiliations, our chosen associations, and that guides us, leads us, mends us, and molds us every day. So if you haven't noticed, it seems like we've been plunged almost balls deep into this kind of culture. Now, I wouldn't even say recently, you know. Some people say, oh, everything has been different since 2020 and whatnot. I beg to differ. I think they spent a lot of time setting up preparation, making preparations for these years to play out the way they have been. You know, everything is very calculated. Everything is scripture. Everything is scripted. Everything is theatrics. You know, and depending on your worldview or depending on like your knowledge, we all have different opinions on who the director of this show is. But I think everybody can agree that we're living in, you know, a show, a game, a matrix, whatever you want to call it. The world is very, very, what word am I looking for? It's not saturated. Not saturated. Something else, but I'm not going to waste time looking for the S word. I'm pretty sure it's an S word, though. Dang it, I had to stop myself. I was looking for the S word. It's been some time. It's been some time. I've been processing these things, you know, trying not to be too under a rock and too high off my own supply to look at the world around me, but also at the same time, the world around you, people, it's always a mirror that reflects back your own internal process going on at any given time. You know, this ain't going anywhere. The only thing that absolutely must change and absolutely must progress in a way that's beneficial for you is your internal world. The external world's gonna go any type of way, you know, and it's through mastery of your internal world that you could kind of manipulate not necessarily the external world around you, but your emotional body and the various reactions you're going to have to the world around you. I think that's a very important skill just in general, and that is for the most part what I'm here to discuss with you guys. You know, time has been passing us by. I've been in and out of YouTube, in and out of work, in and out of music, in and out of a lot of things. For a while I thought that was just it showed a lack of focus, but I think I'm starting to settle into it more and just accepting it as an organic ebb and flow of my life. Sometimes I create things in different modes and whatnot, and to try and make a schedule for myself, I have like a little undiagnosed ADHD brain, so I hate making myself a laundry list of things to do and then bullying myself when, you know, I can't compel my body to do those things. It's a weird back and forth I have with myself, but for right now I feel still, and for right now this feels organic, something I want to participate in. I missed making videos. There's been a lot of life happening, and my favorite little technique, or my favorite, I don't even know what to call it, but the navigational skills on a day-to-day basis. That's really, so much growth happens when you're not paying attention. You develop in directions you may not fully see or perceive yet, but we all grow in a direction every single day. You don't have to be in here hitting the kumbaya every day to really be growing. Your mind, as long as your mind is active, and if you consider yourself someone of mental, spiritual, energetic substance, that's something you can't easily turn off, if at all. So even in your day-to-day, even when you think you're doing nothing, these fires that exist in your life are transforming you, molding you. Sometimes the experience transforms you, and sometimes your resistance against an external force marks a change in you. A lot of life, and I always say this, is about knowing what situations call for regaining control so you can overcome the situation, and sometimes it's about relinquishing control so you lose this negative power dynamic that something in this world has over you, your emotional body, your emotional and mental stability, your overall well-being. When these things, we all have bits and pieces of ourselves that are our very own, and then we have certain unlockables, things that have to be positively unlocked, via just growing stronger in your gifts and whatnot. And then you have another set that has to be reclaimed from these strongholds that, via trauma and whatnot, have chipped away a part of you. A lot of spiritual teachers and whatnot, they say it's not about becoming who you're supposed to be, it's about remembering who you already were. And I think that rings true in a lot of aspects. Some of us are new souls, and we are here to forge something and make something out of ourselves. But I think even new souls, we all come from the same destination and whatnot. Even the youngest sibling has the same genetic information as the parents, as the rest of the siblings. So that whole chronological thing, stripping it back, I hope you guys are navigating this world properly. And just in case you haven't, I have some kind words for you today. It's basically what I'm trying to get to. I love yapping. I love yapping. It does a lot for me positively. But when it comes to your techniques and your navigational skills, understand, as life gets crazy, don't measure yourself against the craziness of the world. Don't think that just because the world events taking place around you, don't use that as an indicator to yourself that you're not on your game, that you're not on your ball, that you're not doing yourself. Now, granted, you may be slacking. Don't let me give you just a full, because I don't know who from what context is going to be absorbing this and using it to absolve them of whatever guilt that comes from whatever source and whatever lifestyle they're living. You know what I mean? Like, don't use this as a get out of jail free card. But not every struggle you're dealing with is something that can instantly be eroded away, erased, defeated, overcome. Sometimes you have a lot of long battles. Not every test is going to be multiple choice. Some tests are essays, some tests are projects, some tests are long research papers. And when you pride yourself on your demon slaying abilities, the quantity of your work versus the quality of your work, you can oftentimes fall into a false slump, thinking that you're not where you're supposed to be just because you haven't gotten to where you're supposed to be. Is the destination where you're supposed to be, or is the journey where you're supposed to be? Because as long as you're taking the right steps towards a process, you're still exactly where you're supposed to be, not just your destination. That's the thing. We always have another hill to climb. We always have further to go. That's just the nature of living in this world, living in this life, living in whatever the fuck this is, past whatever this is. That grand scheme of things, the bigger picture. Your navigational skills aren't there to help you necessarily erase every problem you're gonna face in life. Your navigational skills are there for helping you, well, no shit, navigate the situations you're inevitably going to go through. You can't measure yourself and the quality of your life based on how many W's, like your W to L ratio. You can't be looking at your KD like that. Be still, and don't let any of this world overly sabotage your ability to sit down, have like a little break with yourself, and keep on going. You know, the climb is always going to be there. Don't think because it's one problem after the next that you're like distinctly marked. God does not have beef with you. You know what I mean? Like the world is in general just rage baiting everybody right now. I feel like that's what a lot of this is. Your ability to remove yourself from the seat of over-identifying with your struggles, over-identifying with your demons, over-identifying with your baggage, overly identifying with your circumstances. That doesn't mean just completely disassociate. Disassociation and detachment are two completely different art forms. One is escapism, one is enlightenment. You have to really be clear about how your mind is taking all the stress that you're enduring and taking on at any given time. Because sometimes, you know, even if you're not consciously admitting to this, maybe subconsciously you may be getting the message that, wow, it's always one battle after another, guess I'm screwed, you know? When the reality is that I think everybody is caught within their own unique hallucination, their own unique battle right now. This whole World War III situation that unfolds, I think a lot of that, you don't really have to worry about the external wars, because internal wars are being fought currently, right now. There are, yes, wars and rumors of wars, but there is a literal, already taking place war that's already been going on, and that is, you know, the ability of the masses, the ability of overarching powers to control your perception of your reality. What you think, how you feel about what you think, and what you think about how you're feeling. Everything. You want to be the captain of your ship, and this world is full of things and forces and entities and individuals that are more than willing to hijack anybody who does not know how to consistently regain and, what word am I looking for? Recalibrate themselves. You know, there are forces out there that are counting on you to be unable to emotionally regulate, and that's when you get hijacked by shit that you don't fully understand. Your navigational skills, your techniques in life, those are in place to help you navigate hard times. You know what I mean? They don't prevent hard times. They are there to help you navigate and traverse through hard times. And as long as you're overly focused on, hey, this feels bad, therefore I feel bad about feeling bad, that's how you get caught into depressive spirals, even more so. You know, you feel a lot more free when you accept the ebb and flow, the highs and the lows. Now granted, organic highs and lows. If you're out here actively fucking your own life up, you know what I mean? Some courses, some things are DLC, some things are extracurricular. And you know what I mean? Just because life is whooping your ass, there's a difference between a canon event and a skill issue, you know? So take a good long look at your circumstances and make sure that you're doing everything in your power. That way, anything that still remains afterwards is genuinely just a teaching moment that you know you're there to absorb and naturally traverse through, rather than, oh yeah, this nigga has yet to learn and it's just catching up to him, and you think, oh yeah, nah, I'm trusting God's narrative. You're not even following his call outs and whatnot. You can't credit, you know, the fuckery you're currently living through to like some kind of divine structure or divine plan if you're not carrying yourself in a divine way on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? If you're the captain of your ship, you're on your journey. You know, not just the journey belongs to you. You are living through reflections and manifestations of your own internal to external behavior. You know what I mean? Like, you're in your own feedback loop. So sometimes there is a lesson that is meant to refine you, and other times the situations and the circumstances you're living in are the consequences and the ramifications that come with the way in which you carry yourself. You know, so knowing the difference between what it is you're looking at and what it has to do with you, I think is a very important skill to have nowadays. because there are so many problems swirling around, so many things willing to swallow you whole, people. And if you don't have a way to digest and properly dissect the reality you're living through, things can get chaotic for your mental real quick. And you know how that goes. One problem makes you less likely to solve the second problem, which makes you less likely to solve the third problem. And now your fourth problem is that you have 3 problems. You know, that's the thing. Sometimes people get caught up and they're consumed by their own suffering, which is why it's important to have some type of digestive system intact. I'm not gonna overly overly yap. I have confidence that I will be back. Ooh. Well, I'm glad you got to see that anyway. It's a beautiful little park. I'm out here for the first time in a long time. I went all of April without being out here, half of May without being out here, and all of late March without being out here. I've had a lot of experiences shaping and molding me in positive ways. You know, everything's a teaching moment, people. Try and keep yourselves centered, keep yourselves grounded, and I will see you guys very soon.